All right, Addison. So today we're going to read a story from the Bedtime Stories book.
A spooky monster.
A spooky monster, because this is what Addison chose for tonight. And the story that she wants to read is
A cookie monster.
Monsters, Inc. The Spooky Sleepover.
I put the hair on you.
You're going to put hair on me? Great.
That one.
It was a quiet morning at Monsters, Inc. James P. Sullivan, also known as Sully, had gotten in early to catch up on his paperwork. He smiled as he reviewed the monthly laugh reports. Addie, come on. Come sit down with Mom.
Take off.
At Monsters, Inc., it was the monster's job to go to the human world and make kids laugh. The laughs were used as energy for the city of Monstropolis. It had been Sully's idea, and now he was president of Monsters, Inc. He was glad that everything was going so well. Suddenly, the phone rang. "Hello," said Sully. "It's dispatch," said a voice on the other end of the line. "Annual slumber party at little Shannon Brown's house. Waxford is out sick. We need a replacement." "I'll get right on it," replied Sully. He knew that there would be a lot of kids at the party, and he wanted to make sure he had a monster there to tell jokes and capture laughs. This is what she's doing while I'm reading. Say hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
She listens to our stories and then critiques my storytelling.
I love Grandma that much.
Oh, yeah, me too. Sully thought hard about who to send. He wanted to put his best monster on the case. He smiled to himself. Who better for the job than his one-eyed pal, Mike Wazowski? Mike was Monsters, Inc. top laugh collector. He could make anyone laugh. Sully knew his best friend would be perfect for the job.
And Bailey and Grandma too?
Mike was in the locker room getting ready for work. He had just finished putting his contact lens, which was the size of a pizza, in one eye when Sully walked in. Sully explained the situation to Mike. "I'm your man," Mike said confidently. "Great," Sully exclaimed, whistling as he went back to his office to finish his laugh reports. "Piece of cake," Mike said as the door... I gotta get closer. As the door slid into his station on the laugh floor. "One joke and I'll collect enough energy for the year." Then Mike opened the door and walked through the closet into Shannon Brown's room. It was empty. Hello," Mike called. He looked around the room. He peeked under the bed, but there was no one there. Some party, he thought. I wonder where everyone is. Maybe I should go back. Just as Mike started walking toward the closet, he heard the sound of laughter. "All right, now we're in business," Mike exclaimed. "Kids, prepare to laugh." Just then, thunder cracked across the sky and a flash of lightning lit up the dark room. Mike jumped. If there was one thing he didn't like, it was a thunderstorm. Okay, I'm fine," Mike shouted. Then he ran to the closet door to return to the factory. Mike jiggled the doorknob, but it just opened into the closet, not the laugh floor at Monsters, Inc. There was no way out. Mike soon realized that the lightning must have struck the door and broken it. Don't panic, he told himself, his voice shaking. He knew he had to find the slumber party and another closet door fast. Otherwise, who knew how long he'd be stuck there?
I put my hair
Do you know how long he'd be stuck there?
I put my hair under my pillow.
Oh, like a tooth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mike took a deep breath and headed into the dark hallway. He was sure he heard laughter coming from somewhere. Now all he had to do was find it. As he started walking, the floor made a noise beneath him. Creak. Halfway down the hallway, Mike stopped and looked around. There were some paintings on the wall that looked very creepy to him. They gave Mike goosebumps, and he was pretty sure that the people in the paintings were staring right at him. "I gotta get out of here," Mike muttered to himself as he continued down the hallway. Then he saw something and froze. Oh no, what do you think it is? What do you think you saw? I don't know. Let's see what it says on the next page.
Hurry eyes. Hurry eyes.
Mike couldn't believe his eye. Sitting at the end of the hall was a large, furry creature with fangs. It was panting heavily. "Oh man," he cried. "Am I?"
Family tried to dump on him.
Yeah, that's a doggy.
It is a doggy. Teddy right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Hurry.
Am I ever glad to see a fellow monster around here? Taking a deep breath, Mike started to walk closer to the creature. Just as he did, the creature lunged toward him, knocking him down, and within seconds it began to lick Mike. "Ah!" he screamed. "Dog breath!" Mike hated dogs. He pushed the dog off of him as fast as he could into a nearby room. He pushed the dog off of him and ran as fast as he could into a nearby room. He slammed the door shut. He was safe for now. Meanwhile, back at the Monsters, Inc., Sully was working on the laugh floor. The floor manager came running over. "Sully, Sully," he shouted. "Mike still hasn't returned from the slumber party. He's never been gone this long." When Sully went to check on the door, he discovered that it had malfunctioned. It didn't open into a closet. That meant Mike was stuck in Shannon Brown's house. "Oh no, Sully, we got to get Mike out of there."
Mike was stuck in that house?
Yeah, he was stuck in Shannon Brown's house.
Oh. That one?
Because the door malfunctioned.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says next. Sully brought in a maintenance crew to figure out how to fix the door. Together, the monsters pulled all the levers and pushed all the buttons on the door to try to get it to open properly. When that didn't work, Sully read the emergency manuals. He and the other monsters tried everything they could. After a few hours, the door made a clicking sound. It was working. Now it would open into a different room at Shannon's house, the monsters cheered. Back in the house, Mike walked into the bathroom. Ouch! The green monster squealed as he tripped on a yellow rubber ducky and went rolling across the floor. Finally, Mike crashed into the wall and stopped. Then he heard a lot of giggling down the hall. Mike did not like this assignment or this house.
I don't like that one.
You don't like that one? But he was determined to find the party. So he lifted himself off of the floor and followed the laughter. But when he found the right door and opened it, it was quiet. Slowly, Mike entered the dark, silent room, and all of a sudden, a light went on. Mike jumped. Shannon Brown and all her friends started roaring with laughter. They thought Mike looked funny sneaking into the room.
Look, is that Mike?
That's Mike, yeah.
That's
him.
Mike?
That's Mike Wazowski.
That is a monster Mike?
That's the monster Mike with one eye. We could watch this movie. Yeah, we should watch this. We have Disney Plus.
Right?
You want to watch this movie tomorrow if we have time?
I don't like it.
Ah! Mike was so frightened that he couldn't stop yelling. At that exact moment, the closet door opened and Sully burst into the room. Sully was so surprised to find Mike screaming that all he could do was let out an equally big scream. "Ah!" he yelled. Then he and Mike jumped towards each other and huddled in fright. The girls at the slumber party laughed and laughed and laughed. The big blue monster with the purple spots hugging a one-eyed little green monster was one of the funniest things they had ever seen.
Don't have 2 eyes?
Yeah, he has 2 eyes.
That guy don't have 2 eyes.
He only has 1 eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he has 2 eyes.
Yep. Mike and Sully looked at each other and smiled. Then Mike jumped to the floor and they both took a bow. The kids cheered. Looks as if our work is done here, Sully said. He and Mike headed through the closet door and back to Monsters, Inc. laugh floor. They had filled so many canisters with laughs that Mike was named the top laugh collector that day. No chewing your hair. I was never scared for a second, said Mike, hoping Sully would believe him. Me neither, buddy, Sully replied with his big furry fingers crossed behind his back. Me neither. All right, you ready to say goodnight?
Yes.
It's all finished. Story's all done.
Can we read that one?
Maybe another night, yeah. Say goodnight.
Night. My hair all wet.
Yeah, because you had it in your mouth. Don't chew your hair. Good night.
I want to all wet. Nice.